There are 5 GOP seats in 5 states that are really in play here and that Democrats could win: Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. Talk to us about this.
So I think, first of all, Illinois and Wisconsin always look like pretty difficult holds for the Republicans. Those were seats that Republicans won very narrowly in 2010, and those are states that, particularly Illinois, are pretty Democratic at the presidential level. So it's just kind of a heavy lift for Republicans in those seats. And so we've had those seats going Democratic for a little while now. But I think that Trump is kind of dragging down Senators Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania, Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire, so we're sort of favoring the Democrats a little bit in those states, although there's time for them to recover. And then Indiana is a little bit of a different story. Trump should win Indiana. It's kind of a Republican state, but former Senator Evan Bayh, a very popular Democrat, elected to enter this race pretty late, and that decision may actually be the difference between Democrats winning or losing the Senate.
Yeah, I want to put the map up again as well, because beyond those 5 GOP Senate seats that are now leaning Democrat, there are some other potential disasters for Republicans: Arizona, Florida, Ohio, Missouri, North Carolina. Now, you don't rule out an upset in which Dems would take one or more of those, right?
No, not at all, although I do think that the trends in some of those states are pretty good for Republicans. Rob Portman in Ohio is pretty clearly leading right now. We just moved that state to leans Republican. Rubio also leading in Florida, so his decision, late decision to run for re-election, I think is also important here. I know that Republicans are very concerned about Richard Burr in North Carolina, and North Carolina is a state that very well could vote for Clinton as well. So there is certainly the potential for Democrats to grab more seats here, but at the moment, I think we're looking at a fairly closely contested Senate one way or the other, 50-50 or 51-49, something like that.
You point out that states generally in recent years vote for the same party for president and senator. Since Trump is behind, how much of a drag is he? And in fact, are there states in which Republican Senate candidates are running ahead of Trump?
So Republican Senate candidates are actually running ahead of Trump in a lot of places, and that includes places like Pennsylvania and New Hampshire. The problem is that they're not running far ahead enough of Trump, and I do think it's difficult in this era where voters are increasingly reluctant to split their tickets to ask these Republican senators to run significantly ahead of Trump. They will to some degree, but I think Trump needs to improve his performance in some of these states to help save some of these Republican senators.